Well, what a weekend it has been. West Ham have scored 4 goals twice inside 4 days. Yeah, I know. And plenty of other action in between. Welcome back to the Premier League Roundup Show right here on West Ham Unofficial for another week. I'm smiling for another week, which is all good. And Josh joins me. Josh, welcome back. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Not bad at all. And I think, Shaun, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. What's going on?
I don't know. I had a nightmare. I had the Indian delivering at the door. I've had a bit of a mental afternoon, but yeah, I think Wi-Fi's playing up again, but I'm here for now.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. I see we've got the chat before we get started. Got back from Bournemouth just under an hour ago, so you can check out the vlog on the channel and all the clips going up all through the night from our win on the South Coast. Phil, thank you very much for joining us. Lawrence as well. And yeah, here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Premier League Roundup Show. This is the episode with Josh and Shaun. Very excited. There we go. I've managed to fork out the fee for Josh this week. You know, we've had some harsh negotiations this week. I've pulled him out of a football camp somewhere, out of some holiday somewhere, and he said, Josh, I hope you're glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Fremma, thanks for joining us as well. Right, we're going to change the schedule this week because we're not going to do all the games because some of them I just don't want to talk about. So we're going to just do the 3 because we're all here. We're going to do the 3 games and we're going to leave you in peace for your Sunday evening. So we'll start off with the game on Saturday and we'll go straight to you, Josh. Brentford 1. Aston Villa 1. And I said to you before we went live, Aston Villa didn't win. What's going on?
I know, I can't believe it. Last few weeks, won 4 on the bounce, I think, or 4 or 5 on the bounce. It's been mental. I never thought I thought we might end up, after that Chelsea win, we'll end up getting top half. But no, we've just been flying since. But yesterday, I think it's poor performance sort of brought us all back down to earth a bit. People were even going on about top 4, getting a bit carried away. We were lucky to get a point in the end, to be honest. And I know I should be being a bit more positive after the run we've been on, but we were batting for 70 minutes, really. We never really woke up until they scored. Then the last 10 or 15 minutes, we started to play a bit better, created a few more chances, and thankfully Douglas Luiz managed to snatch a late equaliser. But performance until then went great from Brentford. We've only lost twice at home all season, so it's always going to be difficult. But they were by far the better side. I think if we won, it would have been a daylight robbery because we were battered for 70 minutes. I don't know how it stayed at 1-1. I don't know, they only got 1 goal, to be honest. But Martinez had to go off for half-time, which was a bit of a blow. It looks like it was only an illness. Hopefully he should be back for Tuesday. Robin Olsen instantly made a mistake, but thankfully their player scored missed an open goal. It could have been more than definitely could have been more than 1. But last 20 minutes we played it very well. Questionable refereeing again. There's a high foot on Digne, which left his face all cut and bleeding, and his foot literally got to his face. Never even give a foul. So the referee weren't great again as usual, but we'll take the point. I think the stat is now that we're the only team to score in 20 consecutive Premier League games or something. I'm not sure if you've seen it. But basically in every game since Emery's come in, we scored a goal. So definitely doing well. The playing out from the back's working. We're not making anywhere near as many mistakes as we did at the start of when he first come in. It's definitely getting better, and there's been so many times we've absolutely battered teams like Brentford, like what happened to Brentford this weekend, but not won. Whereas now we're sort of like we're grinding out games, we're grinding out results, and that's a good habit to get into because winning games or getting points, not playing too well. And I'd certainly rather do that than absolutely batter the side, but not win the game, which has happened far too many times under Gerrard and Smith previously. So I think we've definitely got a good manager, but I think that performance sort of brought us all back down to earth.
Yeah, I think it was a sort of difficult one to predict because I'm just looking at the table now, and we've sort of given it like the three that are going to push for that sort of seventh in Brighton, Fulham, and Brentford. And Brentford find themselves at the bottom of that stack now, who have played a game more than Fulham, and they've played 3 games more than Brighton, and sit on 44 compared to 45 and 49. They've dropped off quite a bit over the last few weeks, Sean, and that obviously shows by the table. But a point for them in this game, in the run they've been on, look pretty good.
Brentford, yeah, like you said, they dropped off a little bit. You almost felt like they leveled out a little bit, where they just sort of teams go on. But a lot of the teams around that sort of part of the league, they go on these little runs and they dip off, then they come back. But yeah, if they obviously they're going to finish top half now, I think that's probably guaranteed. In I'd imagine. I don't know. Is it Europa Conference 7th spot? Is it? I think.
Yeah.
I think one of those 3 you just mentioned might get it. Villa in and around it a little bit. I think there's a few more turns to come. But yeah, I think wouldn't surprise me if 1 or 2 of those grab the last European spots.
Yeah, no, I agree. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Lawrence says Villa have been on proper form in the last few months. They have, and the table sort of reflects that quite well. Sean, does your dog feel sorry for you tonight?
No, not at all. She's happy for me.
Emery's record at Villa is impressive. It certainly is. Lawrence, thank you very much for the $10 super sticker. Thank you very much indeed for that. It's greatly appreciated. You must be in a good mood tonight, as am I. But I've seen a couple of your tweets, Sean. I haven't seen all of them, but you seemed pretty. Would you say happy that you got battered today?
Yeah, a little bit.
Newcastle 5, Spurs 1. Now, one thing I will say, obviously I didn't watch the game, but as the goals went in, there was, with the sort of thousands of us that was in there was just a few chuckles, and then it got to about 5, and we were like, is this going to carry on? Was it 5 in 20 minutes in the end? What on earth happened?
Yeah, well, I did sort of have a bit of a rant about that. Well, I don't actually care how the results go for the rest of the season. That defeats might even be a good thing. I sort of said that last week on it. Yeah, I think drubbing it won't do it any harm at all. I think they've been plodding for a year or two, getting 4th spot, then it's 6th, then it's 3rd, then it's 4th, not trying to get any further, and not trying to challenge for domestic honours. The Europa League isn't classed as good enough for Tottenham to try and win it. Doesn't bring the money, so there's no point. So things like, and also bringing on more up to date. Obviously, we knew Conte was probably going to go. He left. Randomly, Daniel Levy kept his assistant in charge. No one could really understand that at all. It's like having a bad Conte there. The director of football suspended from worldwide football for 3 years now. He's gone. So they're more than rudderless. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. And I know people can harp back to players. Oh, they're on $100,000 a week, blah blah ball. But we know what Premier League footballs are like. If behind the scenes it's all going wrong, you're not going to get a performance out of them. And I think we've seen this at a lot of the top clubs over the years. Like Chelsea, you've seen it at Chelsea now. Liverpool to an extent this year. Something's not quite right. We've seen it at United for about 5 years. At Arsenal for about 5 years. Clubs need a plan, something to aim for. Probably a bit like yourself next year. This little mini revival you're going through now. There's probably a strong chance that David Moyes keeps his job. So then you might be in the similar sort of mindset to me a little bit next year. If you go, say you see a 12th in the league, win 1, draw 1, you might think, oh, we're plodding a bit now, sort of with no real goal. Obviously, Tottenham are the next level up. I'm probably sound like an idiot moaning that we plod around the European spots. But when you spot your club not having that ambition or a goal or I think the word before is structure. We haven't had a structure. The last 2-3 managers have come in. They've had short term written all over them. I'm pretty happy with a lot of the signings we've made, but a lot of them have been made that don't really suit the manager or don't fit the style. So there's clearly no cohesion coming between manager and director of football. At the moment, Tottenham's got neither. So we lost last week. I've even forgotten who we lost to now. Did we lose to late on?
So really, Sean, what you've got here is you've got a former director of football who was a criminal, am I wrong?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah. You've got a manager who stayed there and kept his best mate in, and you've just lost to a side. To be fair, Sean, you've given Newcastle a lot of criticism this season. Do you think they were good today, or do you think it was Spurs that were just bad?
Well, let's just compare. If you put, to be honest, I haven't been Eddie Howe's biggest fan when he lost because he was out of work when Newcastle took him. I was surprised. Okay, but if you write the teams down on paper, I'd still say Tottenham had the best 1-11 if you're thinking on paper. So that's just evidence that this was what could happen when you've got a bit of structure. You get a manager in with a bit of belief. You've got someone behind the scenes buying the right players to the right manager. Because the players he's brought in, they've just suited the system. Like Isaac up front, they needed him. Great. Ramirez, whatever his name's in midfield, just suited the system. Great player. Do you know what I mean? Even Dan Burn in the last season, he's 6'5" left back. On paper, defense, you think, blimey, that's probably a relegation battle in defence. It's working. If it works, it works. But a lot of it does come from the structure, from the very top, and it filters down. And that's where Tottenham was going wrong. So he went with a back four today. We've been crying out for a back four. However, we've got no fit left back. So we had to play Perisic at left back, who plays more as a forward nowadays. We play him at wing back. He plays more of a forward for Croatia. And today he's playing left back. Porro is signed brilliant right wing back, but he's an attacking right wing back. And our wing back manager has now been sacked. So you've
got a wing back manager.
Well, yeah, Conte's known for being the best. Well, was the best for that system in the world. So we bought wing backs. We've got a great left wing back out on loan in Italy, ready to come back in for a manager who's probably not going to play wing backs. Do you know what I mean? We've got another brilliant English young wing back who didn't get a kick for Tottenham in Jed Spence on loan in France, playing well. He's going to come back. He's well known as well. His defensive game's not great. So it's like, where's the structure? Again, like I said, every manager's come in, it's had that short-term feel. So you just want a little bit of something had to happen, or has to happen, to just wake people up and change something. And I think with Daniel Levy, I think fans are at the end of the tether with him a little bit. That nothing, like, he always wanted Mourinho. That didn't work out. Okay, clearly messed up the manager and got Nuno. Conte was a great appointment. Last season was quite good. Yeah, it was always going to go downhill. The second season, Levy couldn't rectify it. Now he got Paratici in, who made some quite good signings for us. That's gone wrong. Everything he seems to do has a short-term feel to when it goes wrong. So we sort of need what we need. There's a little bit when he took Pochettino on. He gave a couple of years to build up. We weren't great at the time. He built a great team. However, what let him down then was when Pochettino said that the team needs refreshing, he didn't. So then it just died. So then you go back to other managers that have come in, other clubs. Like obviously Pep's the fine example. They've stuck with him every year. They've just added to the squad, just tweaked it. Klopp, he's been in there about 8 years now. Similar to same time as Pochettino. They can have another rebuild come in. You know they're going to come back. And even to a small extent, it could go wrong. But Arteta a little bit at Arsenal. I know we criticised him, and I don't really rate the league even if they win it this year. But he's been there probably 5 years now, look, and they've slowly built. We don't seem to do that, and it's just a bit. I think I said a few times. I pray we don't finish in the European spots. I got no interest in it at all. It will not do the club any favours whatsoever. I hope Brentford finish above them. Do you know what I mean? We've got Man United on Thursday and the following week Liverpool. It's at the point where you're better off losing them, to be honest. Just so we can kind of
hit the refresh button and go again.
Well, yeah, you pray, but this is how sad it's got. We've had the refresh button every year, right?
Yeah.
But something drastic has, and I keep going back to what sounds daft because we keep refreshing around 4th, 5th, 6th, which I'm sure as a Villa and West Ham fans, you stack your hand off for that. But when you've been doing it every year for about 20, and when you just see a little bit of, we could go to the next level, the rug gets pulled out. And that's what's happened. We've been in 2 title races and he's pulled the rug out. That's how ridiculous it is. So the last thing I've got left is let's be as crap as we possibly can. Let's have the fans walking out. Let's have boos. We're a bit of a soft fan base. If things are bad, there's not enough protests in my liking. I'm the sort of person that would. Do you know what I mean? But I'm at a point where I'd like to get a few drubbins just so they get a bit more reaction from the fans and the board look at it and think, blimmin' hell, they're not happy. Like the last couple of days, we've apparently Nagelsmann has been very interested in the job. He's turned down Chelsea. He's very interested in talking to Tottenham, and then we go and lose today 6-1. So,
and if I just Never just bring in Joshua as well. Josh, I mean, when you look at Newcastle, you've got a side that, at times they haven't played pretty football this season, but they're still sat with what have we got, 6 or 7 games to go? They're sat in third. They're the side closest to their leading pack in Arsenal, Man City. They are ahead of Manchester United on goal difference, but they're still there on 59 points, and they're in with a good chance, if they keep going, of getting that Champions League spot.
They definitely deserve it. I think they've only lost to 3 teams all season, and I think 4 games, and 2 of them were Liverpool and Man City. Obviously, the other one was us last week when Emery completely out-tactited Howe. But take nothing away from them. They've had a quality season. Nobody said they'd get top 4. Nobody probably even said they'd get Europe this season. Just thought another top 10 finish, and then maybe next year go for Europe. But no, we all thought they'd fall away at some point, but it just doesn't look like they have. Obviously, they had the bad result against us last week, and then they've bounced back straight away with a result like that. I think they definitely deserve it more than any other team, and I can't see them falling away now, because definitely don't think Tottenham will get Europe. And then obviously you've still got teams like Liverpool in with a shout, but that's about it really. They can't see Brighton or Villa challenging for top 4 now, so I think they should do it, and they definitely deserve it. But as for Tottenham, I think we're only 2 points behind them now, and us and Tottenham are the only ones who haven't got games in hand on everyone, so they might genuinely have a chance of falling out of them European places, or even top 8 the way they're going, because I'm not sure who they've got left to play, but judging by the performance the last few weeks, it's not looking good for them.
Yeah, I think, wherever they finish, and to be fair, I do sort of, see what you're saying, Shaun, but at the end of the day, you were 5-0 down away from home to Newcastle, and even when, there was people laughing in Bournemouth today, but there are a few people behind me who went, to be fair, we go to away games. Imagine going all the way up to Newcastle and being 5-0 down inside 21 minutes. And I turned around and went, yeah, you feel there's a slight bit of empathy for that sense, because we've done that trip and it's a flipping nightmare. To be 5-0 down inside 21 minutes, I'd be walking down the stairs and gone.
You got a lot of different types of supporters, haven't you? Like, I get you support your club through thick and thin, but sometimes you draw the line and you just, for your own mental health, you don't go. So I don't think many fans who went expected to win. Obviously, they didn't expect it to be all over within a quarter of an hour. But yeah, you get the obsessive fans that would drive up there, and God, they're still driving back now. So yeah, that's football, mate. It's not my way of supporting a team really, but I love to go to a live game as much as anyone. But when things are rotten and they're not going to get anything you want change, I personally rather stay away. That's my. I don't think the club deserves support sometimes, and more down that route.
Yeah, well, there we go. Right then, let's move on. First, 6 with your comments. WG58 evening, everyone. Now 3 games in a row where the Moyes negativity has been put on the back burner. So great to see us play with confidence and freedom in attack. Indeed, very true. From us says, think clubs have to think about a transfer policy. Spurs, Chelsea, and us are examples that you can't just buy your way out of trouble in the short term. Shaun, Newcastle battered Spurs more than he did West Ham. Even I got the score wrong. I typed up 4-1, and there's 3 people in the chat telling me it was 6-1. Apologies. But yeah, it is what it is. Peter, good evening, everyone. What the hell happened at Bournemouth? I mean, it was complete control, and we'll go on to it now. We made our way down. The sun was out. Happy days, and it was comfortable and controlling is what I'd say. Not at any stage of that football match did I feel that we were even going to draw it, As soon as we kicked things off, it was comfortable. Always, getting an early goal is always, it's always very nice to get that sort of, buffer between you and your opponents. And that's the first time we scored inside the first 15 minutes all season. We've played 32 games. That's the first time we scored inside the first 15. And we scored 2 inside the first 15, which completely knocked the wind out of everything that Bournemouth had. And then from that moment on, they had a little bit of a spell before Rice added to the scoring. and made it 3-0. But apart from that, they just sort of rolled over and, you know, didn't really offer any attacking threat at all, which surprised me because, you know, they've beaten some, you know, they've beaten some high level sides in the last few weeks. You know, they went to Arsenal and they put themselves up with a good fight. But yeah, there was just absolutely nothing there from Bournemouth today, which surprised me. And if they keep playing like that for the rest of the season, then there's a good chance they will go down. But you know, I was talking to some Bournemouth fans thereafter saying how big of a game it is now for them against Southampton on Thursday. So they'll be looking to pick something up there. But I think for them, it's just to forget about it. But in terms of West Ham, you know, a confidence boost for a lot of players there today. Fornals hasn't had barely any game time all season, and he scored an amazing goal, scorpion kick, and you saw what it meant to him. You know, he was practically in tears, you know, which surprised me. Rice scores again. There was a plea from the fans today. There was a turn. I don't know why you're shaking your head, Shaun. It's a good chant. Don't worry about it. You know, there was a plea there from the fans today, and he looked like he was enjoying himself. And that's the first time today I've walked out of a stadium, and a few people have said, a few people have said, if we win this cup, you never know. And I know, Shaun, you don't like that cup, but if we win it, it's silverware. And if we can get ourselves up near mid-table, then, you know, if we put the right thing on the table, then one more year might be the case. But that's a long way off first. Let's secure our safety. Let's get ourselves to that 36-point mark. But today, completely and thoroughly controlled, deserved win. And inside a week, we've got a point at Arsenal. We've battered Ghent and got through to a European semi-final. We've battered Bournemouth to put ourselves well clear of the gap. Josh, anything you'd like to add? I know you didn't watch the game, but just, you know, big up West Ham for a bit because you haven't been able to do that for a while.
Yeah, I always thought you'd had enough. You would have enough to stay up because your squad is by far the best out of any other team in that relegation battle. But I definitely didn't expect you to pull these last two results out against Arsenal, and I certainly didn't expect you to win 4-0 today. I definitely think you made the right decision keeping Moyes because I don't think there's a better manager to keep you up. I'm not sure about going forward, but definitely to keep you up, he's definitely the right man and should have a very decent chance to win this cup now. I don't really know who else is in it. Don't think it's anyone good. And then I think that's automatically Europa League then next season, isn't it? But
yeah,
I don't know what that means for the league table. Does that mean that 7th wouldn't get you? Would that
I've
mean
got no idea. Sean, you're in Europe everywhere. If we win it, does that knock anything out of anything? I don't know.
I haven't heard that it does, to be honest.
Okay.
I know they keep tweaking little silly laws like that all the time, but I haven't heard that it will. It might affect things if a few other teams win. Like say, have we got an English side left in the Europa? I don't think we have. No, have we?
No, we haven't. No.
No.
But if does it matter now if City win the Champions League and we win the Conference League? Does that push one of the Europa League? I don't know.
No. We can have 5 teams in the Champions League, so
right.
It makes no difference whatsoever. So no, I don't see how it changes anything whatsoever. Obviously, with City and United in the FA Cup, because one of them usually gets to Europa, so they're both probably guaranteed Champions League spots. So no, it won't change a single thing. So.
Well, there we go. So you know, we might win something, and you might just get your Europe anyway. The Premier League place gets an additional place in the Europa League, right? So then we'll have 3 teams in the Europa League, and you know, I know you sit here and, you know, try and criticize the Conference League, but if it gets us a trophy and as well it gets us back into the Europa League, and if we finish mid-table now, pardon?
Does that mean now if you win that Conference League, you get you an extra the Premier League gets an extra Europa League spot?
That's us. So then fifth and sixth still get it, but obviously we're not going to finish 5th and 6th. So 5th and 6th get it, and we get it. So that's the sort of.
So nothing in the Premier League will change then.
No. No, it's just that we're in it if we finish 12th. But yeah, go on, Shaun. Right, let's take some real comments before we get Shaun's little input on it. Plenty of comments, so we're going to fire through them. West Ham only fans who call for a managerial sacking after 4 great results in a row. You can't diss Moyes in the last few weeks, you know, and today. he made some decent substitutions to get some players rest, because we play Wednesday night against Liverpool, which is a game that I think we can at home get a point off of at the very least, because you never know what sort of Liverpool side are going to turn up, and I don't think now we'll roll over like Leeds did the other week. And yeah, so he rotated, got a few players off with 20 minutes rest in them. So yeah, the stars have aligned for West Ham this weekend. Well, yeah, but Leicester did win as well, so it was important we got something today. Back to scoring from set pieces, have we got our West Ham back? It's a good point as well. You know, we've scored no goals from set pieces all season. Last 2 weeks, we've started to score from set pieces again. Maybe, Shaun, we've done the opposite to what you said. Europe's come back, and we've just completely gone on fire. The Conference League is the blessing, Shaun.
Yeah, sort of.
Go on, Matt.
I've mentioned the Conference League back when Tottenham were in it, so my opinion then is what it is now. I don't think Premier League sides should be in it. Okay, I don't think it's a competition for the 5 elite leagues. I don't think they should be in it. That's my honest opinion. That won't change. However, if you win it, you win it. I think I said a few weeks ago, I'm a little bit, because obviously you haven't had a great season this year, no matter what. A little bit concerned if you qualify for the Europa League next year. I think, again, this is catch-22. It'd be great to win something for West Ham. But then it gives you those extra games next year where deep down your squad probably there needs to be some sort of change. If you just go into next season with a similar squad you've got now and David Moyes, it would be unusual for him to then kick you back on again. Do you know what I mean? That would be without some kind of change, and with the extra games, it might make it a bit tougher again. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying you'll be in a relegation battle, but it'd be surprising to see you back in the upper parts of the top half. So it's a strange one there, really. Obviously, this has probably more or less got you safe, so that's one bonus. Obviously, we're not covering all the games, but obviously it's sort of sucked Bournemouth back down in. I don't know if you watched the Leeds game at the weekend.
I didn't.
Their manager, usually it's open Leeds, in it, go for it, concede. He put the shackles on them completely. They had nothing going forward at all, and a lot of the squad looked lost doing it. Like lost. Melier, who I've criticised, raised it as like a child in goal. Pathetic for both the goals. Yeah, I think we almost sort of relegated Leicester in there. Didn't we? Said the bottom 3 would go. This week, I think, is a very crucial week in the relegation zone, because you just said that Bournemouth have got Southampton, didn't you?
On Thursday.
Yeah, and they've got Leeds at the weekend.
They have, yeah.
And Leeds have got Leicester midweek, and obviously Bournemouth at the weekend. So
it's another huge week down there as well. And Everton are being pulled right back down into it as well. Yeah, so I'm glad that we've.
I don't think it's a bad point for Everton away to Palace, but points. When a team goes and get 3, it can put a bit of a dent into it. Like, they got a good point and they got dropped into the bottom 3 because Leicester won. Exactly. So
yeah,
even it's weird because even like Southampton got a great point. Forest, once they stopped parking the bus, played well at Liverpool because they parked the bus until they scored completely. I think they had about 15% possession until they let one in. But yeah, on West Ham, it's a bit of a tricky one. They're like, you want to go and win this for a cup. It doesn't. You got to the stage now, really, where you probably a bit like Tottenham. You got one eye on next season, because I don't think it's wise to go in the next season with the similar squad. I sort of raised my eyebrow about the Rice chant. Was it one more year? Obviously, I haven't got the emotional tie to Rice that you fans might. I'm kind of getting to the point now where because you had a couple of good years, now you've dropped in the bottom half. You know he's going to put, if he doesn't go this summer, one more year will go next summer. I'm at the point from the outsider, I'm thinking, right, let him go this year. Let him go so you can just sort of get your future moving. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's definitely a difficult one, and I'd be interested to see your guys' thoughts on this. Put it in the live chat now, because when I heard it today, that's the first time I've heard that chant. I don't know whether it was sung midweek at home or at Fulham or whatever, but that's the first time I've ever heard that chant, and there was a flick today because he scored again. He's shutting up these pundits and saying, we don't score goals, but he does score goals. He's really sort of turned the knob on that, but I don't know, because, you know, I'm trying to vision a West Ham side without Declan Rice there, and I think it, you know, unless we sign a properly good centre midfielder, I'm worried if Thomas Souček stays at the club, to be honest, because if he plays like he does this season, then the bone of our midfield is gone, and we're going to have to sign a very good midfielder to be able to get our midfield back to, you know, any sort of stability. Because if you take Rice out, we haven't really got an option there. You could put Flynn Downs there, but is he ready to be, you know, certainly playing every single week next season? Can you put that responsibility on his back? I think he's a good player, but can he do that yet? I'm not so sure. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Shaun, you look very tanned. A few people have mentioned this. Is that the light?
It's the lighting, mate. I think my missus got these fancy light bulbs. She's the only one in this family who's been abroad lately, not me.
Oh dear. So when's your next holiday? But when you go on the lash?
Actually, I did go to Barcelona. Is it beginning?
Oh yeah,
April?
you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Benidorm for a family bash in 3 weeks' time.
Oh, so. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, and then it takes us to the summer. See what that brings.
Let's see what else you guys are saying. Where are we? WC58 says WHU58 says, I still think we need 4 more points to avoid the relegation, but getting to the Conference League final will be progress. I really think we are going to win it. Let's have a look at some more of these. Lawrence says, compare our March and April compared to last season. We are moving in the right direction, and yeah, you know, there's no 2 ways about it. There's been a flick, you know, we have had an uprising form. You've just got to look at the results that we've had. Some of the performances haven't been pretty, but as well, you know, the Europe is a bonus, because at times this season, if we didn't have Europe to sort of boost the morale in the sort of fan base, because, you know, the fans are again looking forward to a couple of days out in Amsterdam next month, and it's sort of helped us get along, and it's given us the confidence, I think, to push on now to, you know, get ourselves above Wolves, which we sort of put to the side in the relegation battle a few weeks ago. We're now above them with a game in hand. I know it's against City, but a game in hand's a game in hand. Lawrence says teams is starting to play well together, understanding each other's game, and we are going with it. You know, we aren't not winning games, which is good, which is keeping us going. Mike, did anyone mention Amsterdam? Yes. I'm not going to Amsterdam, but you are. Well done. Well done. I've got an exam, so woohoo. Rice's family were in the crowd, and they were singing it too, apparently. I saw Declan Rice's brother. He's a spitting image of him. He's a really tall guy. I saw him in the concourse, and I went, look at that, that's Declan Rice. But no, it was his brother. He wasn't in the away end. He had a pint in his hand. He wouldn't have been half-time drinking a pint and going back out there. But yeah, I saw his brother. So that was quite cool. Fremmer says, I think you have to be a bit privileged to dismiss a tournament like Conference League. Carabao Cup is a trophy, FA Cup is a trophy, Premier League is a trophy. FA Cup's lost its shine. Oh my God. I didn't even know the semi-final was on yesterday.
Yeah, fingers checked. That I kind of agree what that last chap said. If someone said it to me 15 years ago, and I think if you support a lower club, then you have that mentality more. Like you said yesterday, the FA Cup used to have massive glamour in the semi-finals, wherever they played it, Wembley or wherever. It can pass you by without even not knowing it's on now. Yeah. I wish Tottenham try more in the Europa League. They're not interested. The Conference League you got is a fresh competition brought in. This is fact. It's a fresh competition brought in, so that the lesser nations in European football can have European football. That is the reason it was in. Okay, so there's not. So you've got to view it a little bit with that mindset. The only reason the likes of West Ham are in it, last year Roma and things like that, they're just in it to bolt on and make it look stronger. It was only invented to help these lesser clubs get a bit like when they tweaked the qualifications to the World Cup by all this Nations League. You can finish, you can do rubbish in one qualifying group, but backdoor it by doing well in another. Remember that sort of weird thing? Again, it's just because they want to make competitions bigger and get it more attention. But so,
and if I ask Josh this, right? So this is interesting. Before we go, so you're now what, you 6th, Josh?
Yeah.
Now you're in a similar position to what we were 2 years ago when we were, on the quest to get Europe. If I offer you Conference League football now next season, would you take it?
I probably would, yeah, because it's some sort of Europe, which I've never seen this in before, and I think lots of other teams have got games in hand on us. Brighton now have 3 games in hand on us. Liverpool have 1, and we've got to play them. So yeah, I can't see us getting top 6. To be honest, I'd still probably take top 8 or 7. So I would, yeah.
Yeah, I've just seen as well. I didn't know. I see United won, so brilliant. We're going Man United, Man City, FA Cup final. Woohoo!
Yeah, I did watch that. But Brighton were by far the better team. United might win that because obviously Man City won't go full strength in that cup final, and it's weird because when clubs like United win domestic cups, which is good, it will paper over cracks. That's the problem. They'll look at it, but it's like Josh saying, conference. Yeah, teams like Villa, if you've been in title races and had Champions League about 8 times in the last 15 years, whatever Tottenham have had, it is massively poor to finish in the conference. There's no way of dressing it up. But again, I go back to my original point. My main reason for disliking the competition that much is I don't think any Premier League side should be in it. And the reason why it was invented and created was to give teams from Latvia, teams from Macedonia. That's why it was brought in. Like, you've just beat the 4th best team in Belgium, didn't you, or something like that?
No, we didn't beat them, Sean. We battered them.
Oh yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's in a quarter final as well. Do you know what I mean? In a quarter final, West Ham, last year, 8th place in the Premier League, 7th place in the Premier League to get that spot. 7th place in the Premier League should not be playing 4th place in Belgium in the quarter final of a competition. So I'm just anti Premier League clubs, Italian clubs, Spanish clubs going in that competition just to make it, just to tar it up. That's why they're there.
We'll leave it. We'll leave it there. It was good enough for Jose Mourinho last season at Roma, so it's going to be good enough for me. That is for sure. If we win it, it boosts us. It gets us a trophy. It will probably keep Moyes in a job, but we'll worry about that in the summer, and we will move on. But let's firstly secure safety. See what happens in the semi-final. There'll be 10 to 20,000 West Ham fans to go out to Prague for a good few days. I've got a history exam on that day, so it's all in the past from that sense. But hey ho. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Premier League roundup show condensed for this week, and we will see you next week. I'm smiling. Shaun is smiling, even though he lost. Josh is in a good place. So yeah, we're all relatively happy. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, check all the content that's gone up on the channel today. See, Josh is off. Josh has had enough. Check all the content, the vlog. Shaun, watch the vlog because there's a good few Spurs bits in there. And all the videos that I've got up. From me, come on, you irons. Shaun, thank you very much indeed.
See you later. Cheers.
See you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.